video. You're absolutely certain about that, aren't you? But let's pause for a moment. How can you be so sure that you're not dreaming at this very moment? Perhaps your brain is sitting in a jar somewhere, hooked up to a network of wires, while you're experiencing a meticulously crafted illusion. You might argue that your current experiences are too vivid, too detailed to be part of a dream. But think again. Haven't many people had dreams so realistic they could swear they were real? So, how can you be absolutely certain that you're not in one of those hyper-realistic dreams right now? Confused yet? Maybe you've even pinched yourself to test whether you're awake. If not, give it a try. But here's the kicker. What have you really proven? For all you know, you could be dreaming about pinching yourself. We know you're awake, probably, but surely a tiny seed of doubt has been planted in your mind. And if that's the case, perhaps it's time to embrace René Descartes' method of radical doubt. According to his philosophy, you must reject the claim, "I'm awake and watching this video," as it cannot be known with absolute certainty. Before you roll your eyes and dismiss all of this as nonsense, stay with us. The brain in a vat thought experiment might be the rabbit hole worth diving into, and who knows? You might even emerge with a new perspective on reality. What is the brain in a vat thought experiment? The brain in a vat is a philosophical thought experiment designed to challenge our understanding of concepts like knowledge, reality, truth, mind, consciousness, and meaning. It draws upon an earlier idea first proposed by René Descartes. However, in Descartes' version, a malevolent demon takes center stage. René Descartes, a French mathematician, scientist, and philosopher, is considered one of the founders of modern philosophy. Born and raised in France, Descartes traveled extensively across Europe and spent much of his career in the Dutch Republic. In the Meditations on First Philosophy, he introduces a radical thought experiment in which the entire universe might be the illusion of an all-powerful, deceptive demon. In Descartes' scenario, this malevolent demon uses all its power to convince us that there is an external world, when, in fact, there may not be one. The demon could, for instance, make me believe I'm lounging on a sunny beach, while in reality, I'm at home typing on my laptop. Or worse, it might not even be me doing these things at all. Perhaps the demon is manipulating my brain, which sits preserved in a jar filled with fluid on some laboratory shelf. This brain-in-a-jar scenario pushes the boundaries further. The demon, using cables connected to my brain, could send electrical signals that simulate a reality entirely different from what's actually happening. Maybe it convinces me that I'm writing meaningful words, but in truth, I'm simply hitting the same key repeatedly. The real twist? There's no way to know for sure. You cannot definitively prove whether this is happening or not. So, could your life as you know it be nothing more than an elaborate illusion? Is your brain experiencing reality, or is it trapped in a vat? Think of it this way. Your brain's neural connections are hooked up to a supercomputer that feeds you all the sensations and experiences of daily life. You feel like you're living a perfectly normal existence. But what if your brain was actually floating in a vat, and everything you know about reality was a carefully orchestrated illusion? This updated twist on the thought experiment comes from philosopher Hilary Putnam. Unlike Descartes' malevolent demon, Putnam strips away the supernatural and replaces it with a more modern scenario. In his version, the brain is suspended in a life-sustaining fluid inside a vat and connected to a supercomputer. This computer sends electrical signals to the brain, mirroring the same signals a body would normally transmit. If the supercomputer is advanced enough to perfectly simulate reality, how could the brain ever figure out that it's not living a genuine, embodied life? Could the brain even recognize itself as merely a brain in a vat? Putnam's challenge is as much about epistemology as it is about technology. If the brain in the vat experiences a simulated world indistinguishable from reality, can it ever uncover the truth? And if it can't, how can any of us be sure we're not living in such a simulation right now? What should we take away from the brain in a vat thought experiment? The brain in a vat scenario, often considered the precursor to simulation theory, challenges the very foundation of our understanding of reality. Its central claim, that proving the external world's existence with absolute certainty is impossible, leaves us grappling with the limits of human knowledge. While unsettling, such thought experiments serve a valuable purpose. They encourage us to examine which of our beliefs hold true and what we can genuinely know about ourselves and the world around us. Take a simple object, like a pen. You're convinced it's real because you can see and touch it. But what if you're wrong? Descartes believed the best way to uncover the truth was to start by doubting everything. René Descartes was deeply skeptical of the truth claims made by earlier philosophers and the religious dogmas promoted by the 17th century authorities of his time. He even questioned the reliability of our senses and cognitive faculties. If your senses can be deceived, how can you trust anything they tell you? Descartes' radical doubt invites us to strip away assumptions and search for foundational truths. His work, alongside the brain in a vat thought experiment, leaves us asking, what can we know for sure? And perhaps more intriguingly, does certainty even matter if our experiences feel real enough? Descartes' relentless skepticism led to one of the most famous phrases in philosophy. Even if many people don't fully grasp its meaning, they've likely heard it. I think, therefore, I am. For Descartes, even if a malicious demon were deceiving him, there had to be something to deceive. As long as he was capable of thought, his existence was undeniable. The purpose of this statement wasn't to elevate thinking as a moral virtue or to argue for the nobility of intellectual pursuits. Instead, Descartes was laser-focused on existence itself. He wasn't concerned with what was virtuous or spiritually desirable. His interest lay in the irrefutable certainty of being. You can apply this reasoning to yourself. As long as you think or perceive, your existence is beyond doubt. What you are, whether you have a physical body you can see and touch, is another question entirely. But as a thinking entity, your existence is indisputable. This may not seem monumental at first glance, but for Descartes, being certain of his own existence was pivotal. It provided him with a foundation to challenge those who doubted everything, such as the Pyrrhonian skeptics. From this starting point, Descartes constructed his philosophy, including the famous Cartesian dualism, the idea that mind and body are distinct and separate. For Descartes, cogito, ergo sum wasn't just a catchy phrase. It was the bedrock of his entire philosophical system and a turning point in the history of thought. The brain in a vat thought experiment has not only influenced philosophy, but has also found a home in popular culture. Notable modern examples include the 1999 film The Matrix and Christopher Nolan's 2010 masterpiece, Inception. These films invite audiences to engage in imaginative, fictional worlds that serve as vehicles for exploring profound philosophical ideas. Take The Matrix, for instance. As viewers, we find ourselves identifying with Neo, played by Keanu Reeves, who discovers that the world he knows is nothing more than a computer-simulated reality. Neo faces a pivotal choice between two pills: the red pill, which will awaken him to the harsh truth of the Matrix, a machine controlling all his experiences thus far, or the blue pill, which will allow him to continue his comfortable, albeit illusory, life. Which would you choose? Through Neo's journey, the film invites us to grapple with a timeless question: what is real? At least we can take comfort in one certainty: our own existence. Whenever we doubt, there must be a self doing the doubting. So, even if you were a brain in a vat, hooked up to a sinister supercomputer orchestrating every sensation, you could rest assured of one thing: you think, therefore you are. The Matrix brilliantly bridges philosophy and entertainment, reminding us that while we may question everything around us, our capacity to think anchors us to existence. As we wrap up, let's reflect on the profound power of self-inquiry. Thought experiments like the brain in a vat challenge us not only to stretch our minds, but also to redefine how we approach knowledge, reality, and existence itself. René Descartes' famous declaration, cogito, ergo sum, or I think, therefore I am, reminds us that questioning everything is not a weakness, but the very essence of being human. In today's digital age, these ideas feel more relevant than ever. As we delve into the possibilities of simulated realities, through philosophical musings or cinematic masterpieces like The Matrix, we confront the fragile boundaries of perception and truth. Technology may one day blur these lines even further, making Descartes' insights all the more timeless. But here's the key takeaway. Even if we can't definitively know what's real, we can choose to create meaning in the reality we perceive. Whether you take the red pill or the blue pill, never stop searching for purpose in the world you inhabit. Because whether we're brains in jars or just dreamers in a vast simulation, the act of thinking gives us undeniable value. So go ahead, question, explore, and think boldly. Because in the end, as long as you think, you are. Thanks for watching.